And let's start with the first stopping that we did watch last night, which, credit to Georgia. They beat Kentucky 51-13. Goodness me. Number 1 Georgia blows out number 20 Kentucky 51-13. That's the headline here. I remember being 34-7 at half, and I wondered whether or not Kirby Smart was actually going to step on the gas. Because remember, I had been asking, where the hell is this dominant Georgia football team that I'd seen for the last 2 years? So much so that the rankings for me reflected Michigan being a much more dominant team. They stomped out Minnesota, by the way, 52-10. I mean, you name your number for Michigan right now, but this was also the best game of Carson Beck's life against a Mark Stoops defense, which is no small thing. 28-35 for 389 with 4 TDs and a pick. But when you got Brock Bowers, who carries the mutant gene, feels like it should be a little bit easier for you to win football games. And that's really what separates great teams. Great teams have great playmakers, and Brock Bowers is one. This is the second game in a row where he's had 130 receiving yards and a TD. Now, they needed him to show up against Auburn. They did not against Kentucky. And the defense for Georgia played like a Kirby Smart defense is expected to play. Ray Davis had gone for 280 yards on 26 carries against Florida the week before. This week, he was held to 59 rush yards on 15 carries. Demonstrative for Georgia, but, they still got some things to do, and I don't think it's the number 1 team in the country. I still think that's Michigan. Georgia's got to do some more for me to believe that they're dominant enough to be the first modern football team since integration, at the very least, to win 3 consecutive national championships. Let's go to number 25, Louisville. Stomping out number 10, Notre Dame, 33-20. Did not see this one on the bingo card in preseason. Did not see this one on the bingo card even a couple of weeks ago, because I thought Notre Dame acquitted itself very well against Ohio State in a loss, 10 men or not, and then came back, went on the road, got a gutsy win against a great Duke team. Feels like, hey, all they got to do is take care of their business the rest of the way. They could probably slide into the college football playoff, but we did not expect the Brom Corp to show up in Louisville and absolutely throw down like their middle name is Muhammad Ali. Because them dudes came out and punched Notre Dame in the mouth, and Notre Dame had no answer. Now, this is also weird because Sam Hartman was the quarterback at Wake Forest last year, number 10 in the country. Louisville beats them. This year, he's quarterback at Notre Dame, number 10 in the country. Louisville beats them. But it's a little bit bigger than that because Sam Hartman also had been coming into this game really on a flyer. 145 straight passes without an interception. And then he threw 2 that mattered and 1 that didn't against this Louisville defense. But more than that, it's one thing to see that the offense isn't going well, or even the passing game isn't going well for Notre Dame, because you got Audric Estime back there, and you got some tools, right? Chris Tyree dropped a pass that was in the bucket that I think would have gone for 6. Maybe it changed the complexion of the game. People want to talk about him being a converted running back and going, hey, catching the football, still catching the football, all right? But to see a Jeff Brom team not just win, but put up 185 yards on the ground and 143 from one dude, I don't know what Al Golden's going to tell you that's going to make you feel better about the defense after that, because Jeff Brom's teams throw the football quite a bit. That's how they win football games at Purdue, right? But in this game, he was able to ride Johar Jordan all the way into an upset win against Notre Dame at home. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, maybe it was that everything was clicking for the offense. No, it was not. Jack Plummer did not look great by any stretch against the Notre Dame secondary. So you're just looking at these momentum switches, and you're looking at a Notre Dame team that we thought was real. And now you got to ask the question, is Louisville for real? Now, we're going to get into the rankings a little bit later on, but they are 6-0. And there's just 5 6-0 teams in the Power 5. One for each conference. And Louisville is that one that is 6-0, right? It's wild. Now, the ACC is a little bit more loaded than people expected, myself included. But to get to 6-0 in your first year, not knowing what to expect from Louisville, that's tremendous. Now, Louisville's schedule has also just got Duke left, right? They don't play Florida State this year, who's also undefeated. They don't play North Carolina this year, who's also undefeated. So Duke is the challenge left. So their schedule goes Pitt, they're idle, then Duke, then Vatech, then Virginia, Miami, woof, and then Kentucky, right? So it's conceivable that they could show up to their conference championship game undefeated and playing for a spot in the college football playoff, which means that we're looking at maybe the best Louisville team we've seen in some years, certainly since Lamar Jackson was quarterback at Louisville. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.